On this week's show, the Peloton Guide is now free, and Alex Karwoski is trying out for the Olympics.
Plus, there will be no live classes for a week coming up. Peloton launches metrics classes, and much, much more.
Welcome to Pelo Buddy TV, a show for the Peloton community by the Peloton community. Here are your hosts, Amanda Siegel and John Pruitt.
Welcome to episode 171 of Pelo Buddy TV, a show for the Peloton community by the Peloton community. I am Amanda Siegel, and I am joined this week by John Pruitt and our very trusty sidekick there, Chris Lewis. Hello, Chris.
It was almost like you had to pause there for a second. You almost forgot it was Pelo Buddy. Amanda.
I almost forgot it was him, right? I mean, it's like just not us anymore. I had a moment. Although I don't know, he was a hit last week. He went rogue on us, John.
Yeah.
I mean, two weeks of no show, and Chris figured he needed to get out there and share with the community what was going on, and he did. Let me tell you, he did a damn good job. I was wondering if we were becoming redundant.
Did Bank Guy enjoy it?
Bank Guy never commented, but Susan from Atlanta thought that Chris did a great job. She liked the shorter version, so I guess there's no chit-chatting today. I think we just need to kind of like get on with it. But how did we get on with it? We were both in London together, so I want to hear, Chris, what did you think?
Peloton Studios London was great. It's, a cozy little space. It has its own unique feel over PSNY, but both are great places, and it was great to finally go experience the London side of things and to see you and Chris Giles, of course. So
yeah,
I do like the locker room set up way more at PSL than PSNY.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I think they've done a great job. I mean, it is definitely a very warm, cozy environment. Everybody is so lovely there. It was such a fun weekend. Chris and I got to indulge in the Rebels takeover, the Roses Rebels takeover of both a John 45-minute intervals run as well as Bradley's country ride. So that was a lot of fun. And
I said it last week, but I'll just say it again real quick. Thanks again to the Rebels for letting us jump in there with them and join their takeover. It was a great time.
It really was. It really, really was. We had a fun weekend, and I even got my husband into the studio. I sneaked in a class the following weekend, and Ben Aldous, he got to ride with Ben and had a really good time. It was so much fun. Nice. Ben made a nice fuss of him and sharing that Mark was on his first ride and I was on my 2000-something ride. But yeah, it was very fun. I have to say, I had a great time in London, and everybody's just so fantastic. It was really, really awesome. So kind of sad. I was there for 11 days, so it was a long time. Was sad to leave.
A nice stretch.
But, it was awesome. Got to do the first part kind of on my own, all Peloton, all my friends. Got to hang out with my kid who's living the life and studying in London for the semester. And then Mark and my other kids arrived the rest of the week and got to do that. I was also very fortunate and got to saunter along the red carpet with a minor little trip in the way, which was caught on camera by Sam Yo. But I got to see the opening night of MJ the Musical. So, which was a ton of fun, and rubbed shoulders with Leanne and Ben and Sam and his absolutely gorgeous girlfriend, as well as some of the German instructors. So that was definitely a memory, and one that I will hold on to for a very long time. An awesome, awesome evening. The performance was just phenomenal. And that, for those that don't know, Ross Rayburn's husband, Chris Wheeldon, is the director and choreographer of MJ the Musical, and just did a phenomenal job. So it was fun to do that in the midst of all of that. Got to dress up and look all glam. But that was, kind of little bit in London. So a fun time was had by all.
Very cool.
Well, yeah. All right. Well, I guess we have lots to talk about. So before I talk about me, I mean, you had a good week. You missed us, John.
I had a nice spring break. I did not go anywhere. Stayed in Michigan.
Good. Nice.
The highlight of my time during that period was taking Jackson to see Olivia Rodrigo in Detroit.
Nice.
Which now,
Did you enjoy
now
it?
I'm all about Olivia Rodrigo. I'm like a massive Olivia Rodrigo fan now. So
no longer a Swiftie. We've moved on.
No, a Swiftie too, but yeah. Okay. Now Olivia's. Right. Now we started watching High School the Musical, the series on Disney Plus. So now,
nice.
We're checking out her acting.
Nice.
Which the show is actually surprisingly good. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Good time. Missed you guys.
All right. But I guess we have a lot to cover. So, folks, before we get started with the news, we always like to remind you how you can keep up to date with all of our content across all of our platforms. Every episode is recorded on our YouTube channel. Just hit the subscribe button in the bottom right-hand side of the video and hit the subscribe button or the notify button to make sure that you never miss an episode.
And, of course, we are on all traditional podcast platforms. So if you're on the go, you can listen to us. Just search Pelo Buddy TV. And make sure you leave us a review. We love reading those great 5-star reviews that we receive from you. So please keep those coming. And we do appreciate the feedback that we receive.
And of course, folks, we are on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, X, you name it. I think TikTok. Just search for Pelo Buddy and follow us on all of those platforms for all of the latest news. And now let's get on with the show.
First, let's do a rundown of the latest Pelo news.
All right, so first up, Peloton is giving away a free Peloton Guide strength device with the purchase of any hardware product going on now through April 11th. So Peloton recently shared the news via email. They said, power up your fitness game with a free guide when you buy a Peloton bike, a Bike Plus, a Tread, or Row. To claim it, you just add the qualifying product and a guide to your cart when you check out. The deals page on the Peloton website's also been updated to reflect the offer. So this is on all hardware products. There's like a red banner that currently is displaying indicate that customers will receive a free Peloton guide with the purchase of any of those devices. So pretty nice offer. I mean, we've seen a lot of deals, a lot of sales recently, but this is probably the most massive to get one for free.
Yeah, I mean, as recently as last week, I think Amazon had it where it was down to $95. It's normally $200, so, they've been pretty regularly cutting it to 50% off, but this is just, flat out buy any of our other devices and we're going to give you the guide for free for now. You do have to remember to click the little checkbox to add it, but even if you don't go in through the deals page, like it shows under recommended accessories, guide, $0, click to add it. So they're, trying to push it on people buying other devices right now.
Yeah, what did the guide initially when it first launched? What was it, $395?
I think it was $295.
And then they dropped it.
I think it was originally when they put the press release out when they first announced it. I think they said it was going to be $450, but then before it officially came out, it dropped to $295. Then a couple months ago or 6 months ago, it dropped to $195 permanently, and then it's been, every couple months down to $95, and then now free.
What are your thoughts on that, Chris? I mean, do you think it's just not a great seller, or
I think
massive inventory surplus?
I think surplus inventory. I think when they were first coming out with them and making them, they just made a ton, and for whatever reason, they've just not sold through all of them, and they're just trying to work down the inventory. Is my guess. I don't have any data to back that up. That's just my hunch on that.
Yeah. I was just curious.
I still got to use mine.
John, I'm right there with you, buddy. I'm right there.
Now you can watch the pre-show on live classes that you take on the guide too. So that's more incentive. I know that was I don't know if we covered that in a recent show while we
probably.
Okay.
Last week. So for anyone who missed last week, they did fix a bug that the guide now can get back into the pre-show for a couple months. There was a bug where you couldn't, but as of this earlier in March, it now lets you back in for the full pre-show on the guide.
Nice.
I gotta set it up. I mean, Yeah, come on, John. We got to have a mission here to get our guide set up.
I mean it's so simple. I can't believe you haven't even set it up yet.
Haven't even set it up.
Well, as a reminder, a couple months ago, there was a test that popped up that some people were getting the guide interface on strength classes on their bikes. So I know a lot of people have said, I'd love the guide interface, but, you know, I'm not in a good spot to have my TV.
Correct.
My bike's already there. So if that test actually comes out, I think you'll have a lot more people using the guide interface without the guide itself.
Yeah. I mean, for me, that is the biggest issue. The biggest issue for me is just placement, is that I don't really have a spot to put it the way my gym is set up. So I have to kind of figure that bit out. All right, well, moving on. I gotta do that. Well, the next bit of news is actually something kind of exciting. Peloton's very own Alex Karwoski is competing for a spot to represent Team USA in rowing at the 2024 Summer Olympics in Paris. So he and his teammate Tyler Nass are participating in the men's pair event at the U.S. Rowing Olympic Trials in Sarasota, Florida this weekend. I believe it started yesterday. They advanced to the finals after competing in a qualifying event on Thursday, the 4th. Sorry, not yesterday, Thursday the 4th. And then today, if they won the event today, Sunday, April 7th, that would secure their place in the Olympics. So the U.S. has already earned an Olympic spot for the men's pair. So the winners will advance directly to the games. Alex, for those folks that were not or are not aware, served as an alternative in the 2020 Tokyo Olympics and competed also in the 2016 Rio Olympics. He has shared his journey and, the unexpected opportunity to compete again, thanks to his involvement with Peloton rowing. The 2024 Summer Olympics are scheduled from July 26th to August the 11th of this year. So let's all root for him, and hopefully next week we will have good news to let you know that he will in fact be competing. So that's kind of fun.
The final race that they're in is right around the time this comes out, 9:30 a.m. Eastern on Sunday. So by the end of the day Sunday, in theory, unless, we should know whether he's advancing to the Olympics or not. So good luck to Alex and Tyler.
And is this anywhere where you can watch it, stream it?
Yeah, it'll be on NBC, on the stream. I think Peacock, NBC, and all those streaming networks. They're streaming the whole trials. I think they weren't streaming the qualifying on Thursday, I think, but all the finals and semifinals that are taking place on Saturday and Sunday, they'll be streaming them. And there's like 8 different events. There's pairs, there's 8s, there's 4s, there's singles. So if you're interested, there's lots of rowing content from the Olympic trials you can be watching this weekend.
Nice.
Well, a friendly reminder, we have an upcoming closure of both studios. This is the spring closure. So for a one week period, both Peloton Studios London and New York, from Monday, April 15th to Monday, April 22nd, there will be no live classes broadcasted from either studio. Obviously, no members in the studios during that time. Originally, it was scheduled just to go through Sunday, April 21st, but it was extended through the 22nd. And as a reminder, on pelobuddy.com, we also have a nice list of all the closures for this year, so you can plan ahead if you're looking to come to the studio. I was actually kind of glad to see that, because the weekend they're closed, I'm going to be in Vegas, so I don't have to worry about having FOMO and trying to get to a hotel or find a bike to take a Cody class or record a pre-show.
Yeah, I know. It kind of does give us a little bit of a break, doesn't it?
Like a forced rest. For me,
one thing I will say is those dates are always subject to change. For example, this was, like John said, this was really through the 21st, and they added the 22nd. So this is what they have right now, but those are subject to change throughout the year.
Yeah.
Just brace yourselves, because the posts on the official Peloton member page are coming like, where are the live classes? Where is there nothing on the schedule? Are there only encores and premieres?
Yeah, because those idiots don't listen to Pelo Buddy. I mean, if they, watch the show regularly or kept up to date, they would know. And you know how many people thanked us when we
Let's
gave out
not
that
call
stuff?
people names, Amanda. Okay, that's a little harsh.
All right. For those uninformed,
Yes,
those uninformed folks, that's a much better. Yes, you're right, John. Those uninformed, but I got to say, so many people thanked us for putting that list out and having it out there, because a lot of people were thinking of going to London for the London Marathon, and incorporating some classes at Peloton at the same time, and that coincides. The closure coincides with the London Marathon. So, while frustrating, at least folks were able to plan and cancel plans if they had them, etc. So that was definitely very helpful. All right. Well, last week, Chris had shared that members had encountered issues where they were not able to receive high fives during workouts, which we all know is a, real big part of being on the platform and being able to, hit those that high five buttons. So the problem has been officially recognized now by Peloton through an incident report, indicating that the platform is investigating the reports of members not receiving high fives. The bug was acknowledged in a report posted on March the 24th, which appeared to affect all hardware devices. So it was on the bike, the tread, the row, as well as the Peloton digital app. This week, Peloton did issue a statement on the incident report page stating that they were investigating the issue and a fix will roll out this coming week of April the 8th. Members can certainly stay updated on this issue by checking the official incident report.
I definitely notice that issue often on my Tread Plus and the bike, and I would simply just delete my cache, completely shut down the tread or the bike. In the past week, though, I haven't had that issue. So it seemed, for me at least, it seems to be resolved. I don't know if others have had the same thing happen, but it seems like they fixed it so far.
Hopefully it won't be an issue for much longer.
Peloton has highlighted recently a new class type via the weekly This Week at Peloton Instagram post. Covering the April 1st through 7th week. They announced that they're referring to this new class type as metrics classes. Peloton had previously had metrics rides available at the 23rd Street Days back in around 2018, but they phased out that class type earlier that year. And there's some small differences between the old and new classes. Namely, the old classes would have, talking, storytelling, but still focusing on the metrics and the coaching. The announcement, though, describes Peloton's metrics classes in the following way. They say, let the music do the talking in these new rides, runs, walks, and rows. Follow a great class plan and expect queuing, no chit-chat, no shout-outs, on demand now. And so numerous classes were released straight to the on-demand library on April 1st, around 11 a.m. Eastern time, which was not an April Fool's joke. But as of publishing the Pelo Buddy writeup.com, there are 7 new classes available, each with a different instructor, including 2 in German. And the modalities are cycling, runs, walks, and rows. And we have the complete list, but there's a metrics run with Selena. There's a 45-minute ride with Tunde. There's a 30-minute ride with Benny that's in German. 30-minute run with Tobias, also in German. A 20-minute walk plus run with John Hosking. A 20-minute row with Katie, and then a 30-minute ride with Leanne. And each class description is very similar. For example, Tunde's says, focus on the ride in this workout, forward class where the music does most of the talking, zone out the noise, and into the roadmap with Tunde, who will guide you through sweaty efforts that will leave you feeling accomplished. And these are obviously catered towards members who are looking more for numbers and performance-based workouts with minimal talking from the coach. So if that's your preference, these are really for you. So you don't want, all the side talking, the chit-chat, the shout-outs, which can obviously eat into, the class and the experience.
Yeah,
I've heard
Have
other
you done
people...
any of them?
other
I
people
haven't
were
yet,
saying,
no.
Go ahead, Chris.
sorry, I was saying, in addition to, not wanting the shout outs and stuff, people who just really enjoy the playlist itself and want to hear the music, this is a way for them to really get to enjoy the music without having to play their own playlist as well.
Yeah. I have to say, I've done a couple. Not for me. Didn't enjoy it. I like the chit chat. I like the distraction. I don't mind. I mean, for me, it's kind of like a coach to camera class without the chit chat, because you're not hearing the shout outs, obviously. And
you don't have that extra element of people on the leaderboard.
Right. Yeah. But for someone like John and Leanne, where the chit chat is part of the experience, it didn't
it's their
do
personality.
100%.
Yeah.
So this would maybe be good for someone like, Hannah or Olivia, where just structured, get to the point, do what they have to do. And that's Hannah Corbin. But
I feel
in
like
my
Dennis,
opinion,
this would be right up his alley too.
Dennis, where they
or
just
Matt,
really
Matt
are
Wilpers,
focused on the actual modality of what they're teaching, as opposed to really just the personality coming out. I
remember doing a metrics class. Jen Sherman used to teach them at 23rd Street, and I remember doing a metrics Sunday morning. She used to teach back-to-back rides. She used to do a 9 a.m. 45-minute ride, and then basically 15 minutes right after that ride ended, she would teach like a 1-hour ride back-to-back, which thinking back of it, it's like is crazy. Because you just get right back on and teach the next class without any real rest. But they were hard. I remember doing a metrics ride that morning. It must have been 45 or 60 minutes. It was tough.
Yeah.
It was really tough.
Yeah. I mean, I did John's Walk Plus Run, and I liked it. I liked the structure of it, but I just missed that, that kind of like chit-chat. So, and I think I'm hearing a lot of that. I'm hearing that a lot of that from folks. There will obviously be that element of community that will love it. But there are definitely folks that I know in my communities that have said it's not for them. So we'll see.
I feel like a lot of people who love the instructors and love all the talk, it's not going to be for them. This is they're trying to reach a new portion of the community who doesn't want that for whatever reason and wants to focus on the training. So this is kind of just extra to try to provide. Who might not like Power Zone. So this is more structured training who you don't want to go all the way to Power Zone. So it's something in between to, give you a little extra structure and focus on the metrics.
Yeah. Look, I love that they're giving, giving a platform to so many different people. There's just so many different, different ways of being able to work out, which is fantastic. With that being said, they have a new 4-week Row Bootcamp series, which is titled Tag Team Row Bootcamp. It's featuring live 2-for-1 rowing bootcamp classes. The classes will be every Wednesday at 6 a.m. Eastern Time, pretty much all live except for one throughout April of this year. The classes all feature Adrian Williams, who then teams up with another Peloton instructor. So Adrian's likely to be the one leading the rowing segments, and then the guest instructor handles the strength portions on the floor. So the series does aim to offer just a dynamic and collaborative workout experience, combining rowing with targeted strength training classes. So it just gives those folks that want to do that aspect of the modality, incorporating strength into it. The schedule for the Tag Team Row Bootcamp includes, starting this past week, we had on April the 3rd a 20-minute bootcamp, which was upper body. It was Adrian, Williams, and Tunde. So his co-pilot was Tunde for that one. April the 10th is a glutes and legs with Adrian and Matt Wilpers. Also, they're all about 20 minutes long. April the 17th is going to be a core one. And this one's going to be with Adrian and Emma Lovewell. And that one's actually going to be a premiere. So it's not going to be a live class. That one will have been pre-recorded, but will drop as a premiere. And then April the 24th is a full body with Adrian and Andy Spears. So nice. Andy Spears. So I think what they've done is that they've made the series, part of their expanding row bootcamp offerings. following the You Can Row Bootcamp program, which they launched back in January of 2024. It just kind of gives folks another opportunity to do this. The classes are listed on the live schedule under Row Bootcamp, with all of the classes being live, as I said, except for the one with Emma, which is on April the 17th. So let us know how you get on with those.
Yeah, so it definitely is like you were saying. It's Adrian teaching the rowing. The other instructor hops on and teaches the strength part, and Adrian hops back on. So they've had this structure with the standard row boot camps. I think the big thing of this is they're bringing in the other instructors to try to convince people who might not have tried rowing classes to give it a try. So they're bringing the instructors, you might love Emma. You might not want to try row, but because Emma's doing one, you might try it, you might like it. So I think they're trying to do this to kind of reintroduce rowing to the broader Peloton community.
Love it. Yeah, makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, sounds good.
So the Adrian 2-for-1, is it under rowing? Because I don't see it.
Rowing boot camp.
Rowing boot camp. No wonder. Okay.
And just to clarify, the other instructor is not on the row. They're not rowing beside Adrian. It's Adrian teaching the rowing. He hops off, they come on and do the weights part. So that's how that's structured.
Gotcha. Yeah, at first I thought they were going to be on side-by-side rowers on the stage.
Yeah, because they did that with Katie and Ash had a 2-for-1. They've done that, but this is just tag teaming out for the strength portion of boot camp.
Gotcha. Did you do that one with Adrian and Tunde?
I've not had a chance yet. I saw some clips of it though.
Okay. I haven't seen you on the row. I haven't seen you on the row lately, Chris.
I've been out of town the last 2 weeks, so no access to live and row and all that. But
just busting your chops
soon.
All right. Well, while we're on the subject of rowing, so back in October we had shared that Peloton had partnered with a video game company. Company that makes their own brand of rowers, and which they have video games on it to play. The company is called Ergatta, and back in October we shared that Peloton was in beta with a couple of the video games from Ergatta to offer on the Peloton Row. Those games specifically are called Meteor and Races. Well, just recently, Peloton has ended that beta, and it sounds like it's not going to launch member-wide on Row devices based on their comment or post on Facebook recently. They had said, while we've decided to end the current Ergatta beta program, we're always looking to test new features and fitness innovations, so check your Peloton Rower emails for Peloton for updates. So it just sounds like, for whatever reason, it didn't pan out.
Yeah, this one was unique because it was a partnership with a third party, so I'm sure there was a licensing fee of some sort. They were paying Ergatta to access to those games, so I'm sure there would have to be like a minimum number of people they wanted to see using it and coming back to make that worth the licensing fee.
Yeah.
So maybe it
the
just
interest
didn't
wasn't high
get
enough.
the uptake. Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense.
All right. Well, switching gears completely. Some new classes that Peloton released. One starting out with celebrating the 2024 Trans Day of Visibility, or TDOV, and that was on March the 31st. They released 4 new classes under the Pride 365 initiative. The classes aim really to honor and support the transgender community. As we know, Peloton is very inclusive. And what they did was they had a mix of walking, outdoor walking, and cycling sessions, including classes in German. So the schedule had a 30-minute walk with Maddie Giacomo, a 20-minute outdoor walk with Jermaine Johnson, a 30-minute ride with Mila Lazar in German, and a 20-minute walk with Jeffrey McEachin in German as well. It definitely does reflect, as I said, on Peloton's commitment to inclusivity and support of the LGBTQ community. So those were dropped on the 31st.
Nice. Well, on Monday, Peloton had announced a new class modality, breakdancing. And they had shared a series of Instagram stories explaining that they're unveiling this new modality in advance of the 2024 Summer Olympic Games and explaining what skills are required in order to succeed. And the first one was Riz. The next one was a black belt in footwork fitness. And then ninja-like reflexes and ability to defy gravity were all made up of the qualities for this new modality of breakdancing. And Rebecca Kennedy, Andy Spear, and Dennis were all showcasing their breakdancing moves. Eventually, though, it cut to them saying April Fools because it was posted on April 1st. But it got a lot of comments and laughter from it. I thought it was pretty. I don't remember them doing a April Fool's gag like this in past years.
They had to keep up with Chris Lewis and Pelo Buddy. And I have to say, while I think that was very cute and fun, I think we won the prize for April Fool's joke. I mean, Chris, huge hats off to you. It was brilliant.
That got some people worked up with the the Pelo Buddy level up $1 per boost of health.
There is no question that level up was hysterical, and I think you did an amazing job with putting that out there.
Thanks.
I'm not sure if Alex Toussaint's comments about not being into the April Fool's jokes were aimed at Peloton or at Pelo Buddy. Regardless, I did see that Alex is not a joker and doesn't like
he doesn't have time for that BS.
But huge shout out to you, Chris. I thought that it was fantastic, and I think it went off really well. You definitely caught a lot of people on that one, no question.
Thanks. Always fun to throw those out there. So glad people got a kick out of that.
I mean, I liked my original when I floated you the idea a month or two ago of posting a 3-hour Oppenheimer ride, but you took it to a whole other level. So I love the fact that you included graphics like consistent with the kind of pop-up you would get on your hardware when it tells you about a new feature or a new class type. So it really got people good.
I did like the idea, but the problem with the Oppenheimer thing was just having time to like string together a fake video for it. So that's why I ended up not going with that one, was just, not have to have time to actually. Yep. Gotcha. Easier to make an image than a video.
For sure. All right. Well, a new artist series featuring Jose Gonzalez, who is a Swedish singer-songwriter and guitarist, dropped this past week on Thursday, April the 4th, with a standalone. So there was just one class, a 30-minute yoga flow that was led by Nico Serrani. It was set to the backdrop of Gonzalez's heartfelt songs, soothing vocals, and virtuistic guitar playing. The class was live at 6:30 p.m. On Thursday, and from what we understood, it promised to offer a unique experience grounded and elevated by the indie folk artist's dreamy sounds. Definitely let us know if you took it and what you guys thought. Members who did take the class earned just the artist series badge, not a specific one for Jose Gonzalez. But just a standalone.
Thanks. Well, several of the German Peloton instructors participated in events this weekend at the Berlin Half Marathon Expo, which was going on from Friday, April 5th through today, Sunday, April 7th. Peloton announced back in February that they were an official partner with the Berlin Half Marathon 2024, which is today, Sunday, April 7th. Peloton also has partnered with the New York City Roadrunners and the TCS New York City Marathon in 2023, as well as the 2023 City to Surf event in Australia. But Eric Yeager, Irene Kamer, Jeffrey McEachern, Tobias Hines, all were there and participated in a number of events, including some panel talks, a mobility session for runners, a warm-up that's for the whole family, tips and tricks for the day for the half marathon. And then Jeffrey, I know, was was running the half
Yeah.
marathon,
And
and
Tobias. Yeah.
Those were the two.
Tobias is,
Yep.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they all did well, and we'll get those results and let you know next week. Talking about City to Surf, Peloton did announce that their official partnership with City to Surf is on for year number 2. So on August the 11th, Aussie members can hit the streets of Sydney for what they say is an unforgettable experience. Members who are interested in participating can in fact register now to join Team Peloton on the official Peloton Australia member group. Folks will gather in the blue start wave, ready to tackle the race. So if you are interested and you're down under, head over to the Facebook page for the Peloton Australian community to go ahead and register. Yeah, so talking about that, I'm sure you mentioned it last week, Chris, but Sam Yo is down under, and ironically, Justin happens to be there as well. They're both there independently and are there for weddings. And I had said something to Justin about, you're going to be down there. Why wouldn't you want to go into the studio? And then Sam had mentioned to me a couple of days later that, in fact, he had made the arrangements to go in and get to see people. And the response has been amazing. I happen to be part of the Australian community, and they loved meeting him. So I'm so pleased that he took the initiative, to go ahead and meet with folks in Oz, because I always feel like they're, kind of feel like the stepchildren and just don't get the same, what everyone else gets here in the States or in London. So that was really cool that he was able to do that. And
so you said studio, he went to the local showroom?
Excuse me, local showroom, of
okay.
course. Of course. Yeah. The one in Bondi Junction, I believe
yes.
he had gone to. Justin did say she was going to pop in while she was there. I guess she was going with her kids, and it was going to be a different holiday. She was going for her brother-in-law's wedding. And I discovered her husband's Australian. I didn't realize that. I didn't know that. But Justin's husband, BJ, is Australian. So, fun time for them. I'm glad that Sam took the opportunity, though, to go in and meet members, because there's no question that folks love that. But that was really cool.
Yeah, who was it who was recently in Toronto randomly and just popped into the...
Hannah Frankson,
yeah, that was kind of cool. And they just do a random, pop in.
Yeah, she had a flight delay or something and decided to use the time and popped into the showroom just to say hey to people. It wasn't like an event. It was just her literally deciding to pop
just
in.
Very cool. Very cool. I love that.
Nice.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Well, Peloton apparel, we had another little sale. It was $30 off bottoms, but there was a limited selection. And then this past Thursday, we got a new drop of Pelo X Lululemon apparel. A lot of spring, I guess, colors, a lot of bright yellow, purple colors were highlighted. Several pieces I noticed, I hadn't seen this before, it said exclusively ours, meaning I guess they're only available through Peloton apparel. But there was some Lululemon Energy, there was a Lululemon Energy bra, a Swiftly Tech cropped long sleeve. There's more women's pieces. A piece called Hottie Hot High Rise Line Shorts. There was a blend tank and a Define Luon jacket as well. I can't even remember the last time I bought something on the apparel website. It's been so long.
I know. Me too.
Well, and the apparel codes don't always work on the Lululemon items as well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, I finally have a friend that's buying a tread, so I was like, "You better use my referral code. I need."
Holy smokes! It's been forever since I've gotten a referral from someone.
Oh, forever. But a girlfriend's daughter just messaged me this week to say she's really excited that she's buying the tread. So that was exciting. All right. Well, we had some birthdays this weekend. A very happy birthday to JJ, who celebrated his this past Friday, April the 5th. And Ali Love celebrated hers yesterday on the 6th. So happy birthday to JJ and Ali. And I guess next up is Instructor in the News. And what a way to kick off Instructor in the News. We have a new Pelo baby. Callie Gullickson has welcomed her baby boy, who they have named Cash James Howell. Cash arrived early in the morning on March the 30th, weighing a very solid 8 pounds, 9 ounces. His arrival was announced by Callie on Instagram, where she shared the news and photos of her beautiful new boy. She expressed her happiness and gratitude, stating that Cash has blessed them during Holy Week and describing the moment as truly being on cloud 9. Callie, who first revealed her pregnancy in September of last year, has been really open and shared her entire journey on social media, including moments from the hospital leading right up to the birth. She's reflected on the strength and resilience of women, sharing her labor experience, which lasted over 24 hours. She did say, though, that the actual pushing was pretty quick, but she was in labor for quite some time. But she said that her fitness regime helped her through the delivery process. So I think for so many folks that are, anxious about working out while they're pregnant, the instructors have definitely shown, that if you continue doing what you've been doing prior to being pregnant, is okay. And it's been very motivating for so many people. So huge shout out from Pelo Buddy to Callie, and congratulations.
Thanks. Well, Mila Wedekind's book officially launched this week. We had previously shared about it months ago, but it came out. The book, which will be in German, is titled Das mir de Well und ich. What? I got to read this whole thing.
Where's Jeffrey McKeechin of Benny Adami when you need them?
Basically, roughly translate. I'm not reading that all in German because that's just going to be such an insult to the German language. It translates to the sea, the wave, and me. What I learned from surfing about courage, trust, and letting go. The book description notes it's an autobiography. It focuses on Mila's time before Peloton, which was a lot of surfing, which she still does in her off time now, but it's out and available. I don't know if it's translated in other languages, Chris.
I don't think so, and I think it's only available through the German and UK stores. Like if you search for it in the US Amazon store, I don't think it'll show up there.
Okay.
All right, and talking about books, Emma Lovewell's book, Live, Learn, Love Well, Lessons from a Life of Progress, Not Perfection, will be launched in soft cover, and that was, it looks like it's going to be on April the 23rd at 6 p.m. at Barnes & Noble's in Union Square in New York City. If folks are interested in attending, they can purchase tickets. You can head over to, Emma has a link on her social media. Chris, do you have one up on Pelo Buddy?
It'll be in the links to the show notes. So if you go to our show notes, we'll have it there.
Yeah, the ticket includes a copy, a soft cover book copy, as well as a photo with Emma. It's been about a year since she launched the book. So, kind of that next progression usually is after the hardcover comes out, then typically it'll be in softcover. She did announce also this week, she's been very, very busy because she announced also this week, keeping with the Emma stories, that she will be riding 100 miles. So back in 2021, Emma and her husband Dave rode the Pan Mass Challenge to support their incredible mission of funding life-saving cancer research, treatment, and patient care at the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. She announced that this June, she will be riding and raising money as a reimagined rider. She shared that due to her pregnancy, she would not be riding in person in August, but rather as an imagined rider, she has the flexibility of riding whenever and wherever. She said that she's chosen to take on the challenge of riding 100 miles in a single weekend, which will be on between June 14th and the 16th. And she will be doing it mostly on her Peloton bike to support this cause. So huge shout out to Emma for doing that. Especially while being quite pregnant by that point.
Well, Tunde is going to be giving a keynote speech coming up towards the end of April. She is going to be keynoting the I Am Phenom, which is a human resources conference for hiring, developing, and retaining talent, which is taking place April 23rd through the 25th in Philadelphia. Jonathan Dale, the vice president of marketing at Phenom, said, "We are thrilled to have Tunde join our powerhouse speaker lineup at Phenom. I Am Phenom, motivating all of us to be the change needed in today's global HR industry." There's going to be over 100 speakers that are going to educate, engage, inspire other attendees during the 60-plus sessions that they will be holding throughout the 3-day conference, with a focus on intelligence, automation, and experience. You can register, include more, and also find additional details about other speakers and events in the agenda on iamphenom.com.
All right, and Christine Dirkley will be the special guest host at an event in Michigan at the Muskegon Art District Library on Friday, May the 17th, in honor of Mental Health Awareness Month. The event is free and begins at 6 p.m. Is it anywhere near you, John? Are you?
Yeah, I went there. So it's 151 miles from me. So it's about 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Got it.
We went there recently on the way to somewhere in Michigan, on the other side of Michigan, and we stopped there to charge the car.
Okay.
There's a charging station there.
Oh, that's too funny.
But it's a nice lakefront town. Yeah, I know. I'm Friday. That might be possible. It might be doable.
Yeah.
Be a nice May day.
Have dinner. Yeah.
I might throw that on the calendar. It might be a fun one to pop in at the library in Muskegon.
Right. I'm sure she would appreciate it. Sure she would appreciate it.
Maybe I will. Well, here's the story you should have taken, because this is your guy, John Hosking. So just this past Thursday, he made some sad news. He is withdrawing from the London Marathon that he planned on running in, I guess, was it next month?
No, next week. 2 weeks time.
Week.
April 21st.
Yeah, he said, "With a heavy heart, I'm having to pull out of the London Marathon this year. I've had an ankle issue that's crept in and caused me some irritation as I've upped my mileage in 2024. Said, having seen a specialist, we decided it's best to save myself and focus on rehab. However, he said, I'll be back running live on One Peloton next week with a smile on my face. Love, Hosky."
Yeah, it was definitely a hard decision for him. I know who's really gutted about this, and that's Leanne, because John was supposed to be her running buddy in the marathon, and I'm sure she's probably wishing that her ankle was messed up so she didn't have to do it. She is not excited. I mean, we had a long chat about it when I was over, and she goes, "Amanda," she goes, I know I'm doing it for the right reasons. She said, "But this is probably the hardest thing that I've had to do." And
it's
you know what, it was humbling.
It's all that grueling training. I mean, Hannah Frankson was talking about how much she hates prepping an hour before she goes out and runs, and putting the gels in her bra top and all the stuff.
Look, it's a tough when you're not a marathon runner. Both of them are doing this for the first time. I don't believe Hannah's done a marathon before either. It's a huge commitment. It's a huge time commitment. She said she's not sorry the reason she's doing it, but it's definitely taken a toll on her. And I don't know if I think John very spontaneously announced back last year that he was going to run. And then it was kind of this frenzy, and
he's off the hook now.
Yeah, look, I think that what he's taught so many people, and what's come out of this, the story and him telling folks that he's not doing it, is that he is listening to his body. And I think for so many of us who are on this platform and want to impress and want to come out as heroes, sometimes it's really not. not the way to go. And there's a good friend that I have that I've made through this, Laura Once More. And Laurel said, there's that mentality, never miss a Monday. Yeah, I mean, I get it, but sometimes you have to just listen to your body. And if your body's telling you that Monday is not the day to work out, then don't do a Monday. And I think John's kind of given that same opening. And I loved seeing so many of the instructors being so supportive of him. I mean, Bex and Mariana, and so there were so many messages that I saw pop up. I'm just saying, good for you, John. Good for you listening to your body and recognizing that there's tons of marathons in the future. It doesn't have to be this one. So he'll be out there supporting certainly the UK London-based crew that will be running, and so many members that will be running. But
well, now
I was
Hannah and Leanne can team up. They can be buddies.
Exactly. All right. Well, moving on. This one was kind of an interesting story. Ali Love had shared on her Instagram that she will be retiring from hosting the Brooklyn Nets. And this is after 11 seasons. I did not realize that she has been doing it for that long. I mean, wow. She shared that becoming the host of the Brooklyn Nets helped her develop her passion for conversation, community, and connection, which in turn led her to incredible opportunities, wonderful people, and a front row seat to some of the best athletes in the NBA. She had quite a lovely send-off with obviously some of her teammates at the final, the final game that she hosted. But that was kind of one that I didn't expect. I guess she has so much on her plate that she had to kind of give up something. And this made the most sense at this time to give up.
Yeah, John Mills over on the Connected Fitness Forum was talking about this week. And, he mentioned that between the Today Show in the mornings, she'd have a late game at the Brooklyn Nets, sometimes have to go in at 6 a.m. for a class, followed by the Today Show. And that just, a lot of stuff on her plate.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, that makes me think about the next person that I'm covering, because I don't know how Jess Sims does it all with everything she has on her plate, with how thin she must be stretched. She's hosting. What is she hosting on the Brooklyn Liberty? The Liberty,
New York Liberty.
New York Liberty. So she has hosting duties there, like Allie does, like Allie did at the Brooklyn Nets, and then game day and all the other hosting duties that she has. But Jess Sims was recently interviewed on boardroom.com, and the title of the interview was The Rise and Run of Jess Sims. And I skimmed through it, and I pulled one quote that I liked from it that I want to read. And she says, "I always get butterflies. I always get nervous," she said, "before teaching a big class or conducting a high-profile interview. And then I just always come back to knowing that people don't come to me for perfection. They come to me because they see themselves in me. They see imperfections. They can have this sense of relief. I don't need to be perfect. They come for improvement and inspiration." I thought that was a really good quote in that interview, but you can see you can read the rest of it on boardroom.com with Jess.
Wow. Yeah, she is definitely out there doing tons. A quick one, Camilla Roman. She's continuously doing these podcasts, and she was on episode 295 of the Hurdle podcast. Again, you're talking about body positivity and just setting healthy boundaries. So if you're interested, you can head over to the Hurdle podcast, or Chris has it up on the pelobuddy.com website that you can click the link.
Yep. And while we're on podcast interviews, Robin Arzon was recently on the Talking Type 1 podcast, talking about her journey, discussing various aspects of living with type 1 diabetes. She talked about overcoming fear, embracing movement, giving some insights on how individuals living with diabetes can overcome the fear and embrace movement despite the challenges posed from that condition.
All right. And Marcel Dinkins, she just spoke on a panel in honor of Women's History Month. her tip for women is basically just to take time for oneself and how important that really is. So
I just want to say how much, since she's come back, I've run and walked with her. I've really become a big fan of Marcel.
That's awesome.
Since her return. So shout out to her classes. I've enjoyed them immensely on the tread.
Amazing.
And then back to podcasts. Jen Sherman was recently on the We Need to Talk podcast. I listened to it and it was like the shortest spot that she's had on a podcast. Like it was like a quick 5-minute call in. But she was talking all about the recent buzz around Christopher Nolan, calling out one of her classes where she trashed the movie Tenet, saying how much she didn't understand it and how bad it was, and she wanted the 2.5 hours of her life back. But they talked about the frenzy around. They showed the clip of that class, of that moment, on the red carpet show before the Oscar Awards last. Was it February or was it March? Just recently, last month. And then they are also speculating. The two hosts asked her, do you think when he talked about taking her class, do you think he just took that recently? And she said, it was probably just a random memory from years ago. Because how would he have just recently
agree.
taken the most random 30-minute intervals and arms class from December of 2020,
right,
just recently.
Right.
So I'm sure that wasn't wasn't just on the Peloton. That didn't just happen when he had mentioned that at that recent awards ceremony where he brought up Peloton.
Definitely makes sense. Makes sense. All right. And lastly, an instructor in the news and podcast episodes, DJ John Michael was on the Pop Theory podcast, chatting to Zach, the host, about how he started with Peloton and specifically about his remixes and how much effort and time he puts into remixing up stuff. So if you're interested in that, you can head over to that podcast.
I don't think I've ever actually heard a podcast interview with DJ John Michael, so I'm curious.
I did not listen to it. I did not have the time.
Curious to tune in and check it out.
To hear what it would be like. Yeah. All right. Well, why don't we get right into our class picks of the week? And since you are a Marcel fan right now, let you kick off the first few. And with Marcel being top one.
Well, the first one, I'm sure it's a ratchet one because it's a 30-minute Cardi B run with Marcel from March 28th. Dippin.22 and Rachel Spins 24 submitted it. They said, great artist series from Marcel. And then Olivia's 30-minute walk plus run from March 29th. This is from Oliver Long. She said, an awesome class with great music. Perfect if you want to mix hit sprints with walks. This one, she also played a song request for me. I did this one live. It was really good. She played Taylor Swift's Mr. Perfectly Fine for me. I'd asked her to play an Olivia Rodrigo song that wasn't in the Peloton library, unfortunately, but she obliged me with some Taylor. So, it gets the thumbs up for me. And then Callie's 20-minute low-impact cardio for March 29th. Armajar 3 submitted this. She said, this was so fun, and the low-impact classes are always great.
Awesome. And then we'll move on to the bike, Bradley Rose's 20-minute low-impact ride from the 29th. This one also came to us from Armajar 3, and she said, great as always from Bradley. Love when he does themes. And then Hannah Corbin had a 30-minute dance music ride, also from the 29th. This one was really popular. It came to us from our good, trusted critic, Armajar 3, as well as spin-loving Mama and Amy MS Chalk. They said her 10-year anniversary ride was great. She deserves to be celebrated. And then Matt Wilpers had a 45-minute Power Zone Max ride. That one was on the 30th. It came to us from Dippin.22, and they said great playlist and programming from Matt.
I noticed Chris Lewis fat fingered it said Matt Williams a second ago on the Google sheet. I was wondering if you were going to say Matt Williams, but you did throw you off.
I know
nothing to see here. Nothing to see here.
I see the box highlighted. I'm like, oh, Chris is going in there, updating it.
You're too funny.
All right, next up, Eric Jaeger's 30-minute EDM ride, which was in German from March 30th. Iris on Peloton gave us this one. They said lots of fun on this class with Eric. And then Bex Gentry's 75-minute pop run for March 30th. Daisy Mack, Just Dance Lisa, Rachel Blaufeld, Leah Seychelles gave us this.
Seychelles. Seychelles is an island off the coast of Africa.
Seychelles. They said Bex was amazing. This class and Miles both flew by. And then Jocelyn Thompson Rules, 30-minute 90s tread boot camp for March 31st. Roz Reich, 712, gave us this one. She said, perfectly coached and modifications for everything, totally manageable for people that don't do boot camps often.
Nice. And then we move on to Kendall Tool's 20-minute Easter ride from the 31st. It came to us from West Virginia Access, and they said, great class for the message, just keep walking. And then Jen Sherman had a 60-minute intervals ride, also from the 31st. Came to us from Rachel Spins 24. And Rachel said, great playlist, ride flew by. We all did it. So fun.
Hard ride.
And
very hard ride.
Was it a hard ride?
Very hard ride. And Taylor Swift and Olivia Rodrigo on the playlist. That was
Did
a nice,
you
that was a
have
nice
any
bonus.
input there? Did you have any input in there?
No. She just read my mind.
She read your mind. And then Allie Love. Allie's 30-minute feel-good ride, also from the 31st, came to us from NEASL. Allie's feel-good classes are always great. Yes, they are.
And then Kirsten Ferguson's 30-minute trap walk from April 1st. Janelle D gave us this one. They said amazing playlist and class from Kirsten. And then Chelsea Jackson Roberts, 30-minute Motown yoga flow, also from April 1st. Sorry. Majar 3 gave us this one. They said this class was so calming and had great music. And then Katie Wong's 30-minute row boot camp lower body from April 1st. Bertha C. Runs MD submitted this, and she said, oh, this is a long one. This is a long review. The soreness was stealth. Okay. It was one of those hurts to sit and walk up the stairs the next day and the next. Maybe because she cued heavier and heavier weights each section of the floor part. Anyway, if you don't need to use your legs for 48 hours afterwards, then I highly recommend this class.
Only Annie would come out with a review like that. That's awesome. Well, if you need some relaxation after your very hard row boot camp with Katie, you could do Kristen McGee's 30-minute power slow flow yoga. This one came to us from Esvelda from the April the 2nd, and they said not so slow, but a very well-rounded flow. And these are fabulous, and I haven't been on them for so long, but Rebecca Kennedy's 30-minute hiking tread boot camp. This one was a full body. It was on the 2nd. It came to us from Like a Dotter and Simply Spring. The comments were love the hiking boot camp classes.
I almost never miss her hiking boot camps. I love them.
Yeah.
Always do them live.
I got to get back into them. They're at noon though, so it's sometimes a hard. I like to work out at first thing in the morning, so it's usually a hard time to do it. And then Dennis Morton, he had a 30-minute groove ride. That one was on the 2nd as well. It came to us from Just Dance Lisa. And she said, Dennis is quickly becoming my favorite groove instructors. It's awesome.
All right. Well, Adrian Williams and Tunde's 20-minute tag team row boot camp from April 3rd. Susie Q88 submitted this one. She said this class was amazing. Can't wait for the others in the series. And then Benny's 20-minute recovery ride in German from April 3rd. Bertha C. Runs MD gave us this one. There's another paragraph review. A lot of the recovery rides have playlists that give a specific vibe. Just because my legs need flushing out doesn't mean I want to fall asleep on the bike. Benny's ride was the opposite. His playlist was all upbeat, 80s pop bangers, perfect for singing your heart out to, 10 out of 10, recommend. And then Rad Lopez's, rounding out the picks of the week, Rad's 30-minute glutes and leg strength from April 3rd. Got this from Julie MJ. She said great programming and motivational content.
Awesome. Yeah, nice mix of picks this week. I really like that. A really nice mix of picks. All right. Well, there you have it, folks. We're back. And you got all three of us this week. So hopefully, and I think we did it in pretty good timing, right? We had
just
some edit breaks
good
there.
Good flow.
I'm telling you. So hopefully, Susan, it wasn't too long for you and you enjoyed the show and our little banter that we had to add, because Chris on his own, whilst very good, might have been just a little boring. No, I'm only teasing Chris.
That's fair. I'll take it.
No. I actually did listen to it, and I think I sent you a message to say that, yeah, you did a really good job.
We're going to assign some topics to you, Chris, next week, so you can really pull your weight.
Yeah, I think so too, right?
Yeah, you could do the purge update, which we were spared this week. I can't believe we didn't have a purge update.
Well, there was a purge this week, but we covered it last week, so because it happened earlier in the day. So the purge we normally would have talked about this week, we covered last week. So it'll be back next week. I'm sure it'll be another day.
We got off the hook, John. We got off the hook. Anyway, folks, as always, we really do appreciate you taking the time to listen. I know that some of this information you get to hear for the first time. Some of it you've seen on one of the social media platforms, but it's nice to kind of get our input as to what is going on. So we're always so appreciative that you guys still, as we head into, gosh, I can't believe that it's year 4. Pretty amazing. But as we head into the summer, we're still going and you guys are still listening or watching. So we are very, very grateful for that. All right. So I guess from me here in a dreary Maryland, as always, thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you next time.
Yeah. And from me here in Atlanta, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
And for me here in partly sunny Michigan, thank you for watching, listening, tuning in from all over. And as always, we will see you on the leaderboard. Bye for now.
Thank you for watching Pelo Buddy TV, your source for everything Peloton, by the community, for the community. Work out with us using the Pelo Buddy TV leaderboard tag, and find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Pelo Buddy. Don't forget that we have a podcast available so that you can listen to us while on the move. Just search for Pelo Buddy TV on any major platform and hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode.